Accused killer Luigi Mangone has been arrested and is currently on trial for the murder of the CEO. What I want to look at today is the company of the CEO that he was accused of killing and why right now may be a killer opportunity to buy. Before we delve further into it, I just want to give a quick shout out to NBC News. If you look at the left hand side, you'll see that they actually have a categorization for guns in America. And if you do click on this, you will see articles upon articles about gun violence. So if you are scared, worried, and want to increase those clicks for a news organization, that would be my recommendation. The first thing to understand about this company is the overall company is UnitedHealth Group. This information is taken from one of their earnings reports. But there's two subsidiaries within this group. Optum Delivers, which is a technology and data company, and then United Healthcare, which is the insurance health benefits company. What's actually listed is UnitedHealth Group. To put some faces to these names, I'll show it here. Okay, so UnitedHealth Group CEO is Andrew Whitty. A subsidiary to that is the Optum and UnitedHealthcare. UnitedHealthcare is CEO Brian Thompson, who was murdered. Now, it may sound like I'm being very specific about this and repeating it, but there's a good reason for that. This is Andrew Whitty's Wikipedia page. One function of Wikipedia that you may not be aware of is you can actually see previous edits of the page that's occurred, who's done it, and what the actual edit was. What you'll see here is a bunch of fucking idiots that have included information on the wrong page. So what I've done is I've gone back and you can see the edits that actually occurred on the day of the death. And to be honest, this isn't even all the edits that occurred, there was more. But the bottom was the first that occurred up until the top. I'll just get some highlights of these ambulance chasing retards, and you can have a look at how stupid they actually are. So the highlighted numbers are the usernames of the profiles that made the changes. What you'll see is the one ending in 1-4, the one ending in bad 4, had a spastic competition to see who could make this edit first within the first 10 minutes. They both tried to make this edit, which did get reverted. I understand, people make mistakes, and that should have been the end of it. You'll see user .81 say, look, it's incorrectly labeled as dead, I'm reverting it, which makes sense. Then, user bad4 tries to do it 3 more times. The first time, poor Ali Beery, he comes in and says, I can't find any source that confirms his death. Can you add a reference, please? That seems reasonable. Doesn't matter. Bad4 just went in and just redid it again. Incorrect, of course. Ali comes back, says, I asked you to provide a reliable source. Adding he is dead with no source is a major edit. That doesn't surprise me. It did surprise Bad4, who went and did it again. Ali gave up. So then user .40 came in and just said, not dead. Finally, Bad4 seemed to understand the fact that he'd gone the wrong fucking person. Then, a few hours later, user HistoryLiker123 decides to publicly announce he was dropped on a head as a child and does the same edit. Then, Baby Shark Boss 2 comes in, says the obvious not dead. HistoryLiker loves to be confidently wrong, so does the same edit again, then gets corrected. I can't believe that these two usernames, Baby Shark Boss 2 is correct. What an absolute retard. Anyway, enough about the company structure. Let's go into industry. The healthcare industry is always going to be profitable. With these two subsidiaries working together, I can easily see it getting even larger, with Optum being the data collection and appointment setting working into the insurance subsidiary. When the murder occurred, one piece of information about the company that I saw repeatedly was this graph. It seems to show the claim denial rates by insurance company and shows that United Healthcare was much larger than industry average and was topping the #1 place for rate of denials. What you can see here is it's based on available in-network claim data for plants sold on the marketplace. Essentially what this person's saying is, I guessed these figures. I can only imagine what it was like for the person that did this analysis to realize once that murder happened that he was going to be sourced so frequently. Anyway, the company did respond to this and essentially said that 90% of their claims do go through, and the major reason behind it not going through is administration, so false paperwork or more paperwork needed. I would take that also with a grain of salt to an extent. Reason being is they could be asking for an exhaustive amount of documentation, which is just creating barriers for these claims to go through. But it's worth to note that not 30% as claimed previously looks to be the case. It does look to be closer to 10%. Even if they did have a higher decline rate, what they could do anyway to counteract that, now this has been made public, is simply just to increase the premiums. Therefore, they gain more revenue and just create an even larger barrier whilst gaining a source of income. On the topic of income streams, I did have a look at the annual earnings reports. They're up to Q3 into Q4 at the moment. So this is from 2023, but you can see annual increases in regards to premiums, always good. And on the quarterly basis, it has been increasing on a year on year as well. But one thing to note is the actual cause behind this. I don't believe it's actually natural growth occurring from the premiums. So I had a look into the balance sheet to see if there's anything more there. When I looked into the balance sheet, I saw something quite interesting. Looking at this, you can see goodwill. Doesn't mean it's a good company exactly. What it means is that when something has occurred, they've actually increased the value and they don't know where to put it on their balance sheets. They put it under goodwill, so it makes sure everything balances. A common reason behind this is when companies are bought and the valuation of the company is higher than the assets that are actually visible on the books of that company that's getting purchased. So jumping on known trusted resource Wikipedia, you can just see the list of mergers and acquisitions that have occurred with this company year over year. And a sneaky highlight, recently they actually had a data breach as well, which you would think they'd actually be pretty strong on, considering they say that one of their subsidiaries is a data company. And talking about Optum as well, they have all their purchases and acquisitions on a completely separate page. The point is, what you're actually buying into here isn't one specific revenue stream. It's a monopoly that they're trying to take over and corner the market within the health industry to have insurance and to have the data. After all the mergers and acquisitions, what got them in the end was that data breach. An antitrust investigation has started, underway. It's already occurred for this company before, but the main thing to look at and the barrier could be this antitrust to stop the monopoly from continuing. Just have a look at this market cap, $469 billion. That is huge in comparison to their next competitor at $86 billion. What you'll note is if you added up the market cap of every competitor on this slide, it still isn't as high as that number one spot at 469 billion. So it's very reasonable that antitrust is starting to have a look into this. And the market cap was even higher than this before. You'll see since the assassination occurred, it's dropped by 16%, which is quite substantial for any company. I can only imagine those meetings the next day that they had to bring everyone in and then try and offer a mental health day off, which wouldn't have worked at all. And I doubt the executives even cared. Look at it over a 5-year trend, 72% up. That's in the face of cyber attacks, antitrust laws, assassinations. These are the modern day gangsters. Though, to make an informed decision, I always recommend educating yourself. And that's why I reviewed what Luigi rated and liked on his Goodreads to see if there's any good books there for you. Firstly, Back Mechanic. If you have back pain, he's rated at 5 stars. I've heard very good things about this book, so definitely jump on board. I do hope the author of this article, Jennifer, is AI though, because that image, title, and subtitle don't relate to each other at all, so not too sure what was going on there. Anyway, these are the books that he's also liked. The one that I've read is Atomic Habits. It's a bestseller. I think it's good to read. And the other one I listened to as an audiobook was Sapiens, A Brief History of Humankind. I would recommend that as well, but purely as the audiobook, because if I tried to read that thing, I wouldn't stand a chance. Vocabulary is too large. But do settle in because I think it goes for about 16 hours. Now, there was one final bit of information. I did hear on a leaked prison call that Luigi had said the following information. If you like this channel, please like, subscribe for more content, and as usual, make sure to buy high and sell low.